There is one thing keeping me using this wheelbase, and to be perfectly honest, I wish it wasn't. But it's still relevant in the scene despite its competition because of the certification that nothing else in the space is able to offer. I'm of course talking about Fanatec's GT DD Pro wheelbase. It's the 5 Nm model here, and it's been the subject of much debate online because whilst it does do a load of stuff really well, the competition from brands like Moza and Simucube make it feel like less of a good deal compared to the competition, at least when it comes to PC specific stuff. Because for whatever reason, that PlayStation support is pretty limited, and so if you're on PS5 or PS4, you have far fewer options than if you're into PC. And the DD Pro is maybe one of the better packages for the money, but it isn't really that cheap for what it is. Logitech and Fanatec both offer more expensive and more advanced direct drive bases, but the DD Pro is that entry point into direct drive on PlayStation, and it's the sole reason why I've held on to mine for so long. I love playing Gran Turismo, and sure, I don't play it every day, but when I want to, the DD Pro is just phenomenal for that. It's small, it's relatively lightweight, it has a terrific range of first-party wheels and hubs, so you can attach your own wheel if you want to. I have the QR1 here, which has a reputation for failure. I've never had issue with the QR1. The QR2 is meant to be much better, although pretty expensive, and I haven't felt the need to switch mine out because, well, I've never really had an issue with it. I've been using the included Gran Turismo wheel on it the entire time because I just can't justify going and spending on more Fanatec wheel rims, but to be totally honest, this one does the job. It's decent for GT racing, for rally, for drift, it's just an overall pretty decent wheel. I have the standard pedals for it because realistically I'm not driving competitively. I actually bought the 8 Nm booster kit and the load cell pedal to go with it when I first bought them from Fanatec EU, but I actually never used them, so I sold both of them on. The pedals admittedly are a bit rubbish, and sure, I'd swap those out for one of either Fanatec's better sets if I was on PlayStation, or something much better on PC. But because I'm not using this thing full time, I just don't really feel like it. I've used it on my main rig, the 80/20 setup, very rigid, and I used it for a considerable amount of time around the time that I bought my Simucube and I was just fancying something a bit different. But I've since moved it to the play seat for playing on the TV and also playing in VR. It's actually a really fun experience. Because the play seat is just so basic and cheap in its construction, you get a full body experience when you go over curbs and stuff. It's like having a full motion rig, but not actually a motion rig. It is hilarious, and that's only with the 5 Nm version. The force feedback is so much better than what I had with my CSL Elite back in the day. The Logitech cog bases, anything like that, this feels like such an upgrade over that. But if it weren't for the PlayStation compatibility, I'm not sure I'd even care much about the DD Pro in particular. And there are also good products out there that let you use non-supported hardware on PlayStation, like the Sigma Cortex for Simucube stuff and the Resolution for Moza. Neither of these are perfect solutions and they require a bit of a workaround, but they also do a pretty decent job, and so you can compromise and have something that works fantastically on PC, but then also works with PlayStation as well, as long as you're willing to put up with that slight caveat. I'm not calling this thing a bad product, because it's not. I wish this was available when I first started looking into DD wheelbases, because I went from a CSL Elite to a DD2, and I'd much rather have one of these instead of a DD2. Sure, the DD2 was better, but it was also bigger, more expensive, required different mounting points. It's just kind of annoying. And actually, as someone who uses a Simucube 2 Pro, the 5 Nm version of the Fanatec base is going to be more than enough for an awful lot of people, especially if you're coming from sort of a Logitech G920, G29, that kind of thing. It's just going to be a huge upgrade. I really wished Simucube and Moza had access to the PlayStation certification so that we weren't forced into one or two brands, and instead could just enjoy the healthy and competitive market that we have on PC. But if you're either happy to use third-party adapters or are thinking of going PC only, which is a big recommendation by the way, Moza and Simucube have Fanatec's number. I think it's only going to be more competitive going forward as well.